Hey, what's up everyone? Praful here. Welcome back. Thanks for joining in. And काफ़ी दिनों के बाद हमारा जो पॉडकास्ट सीरीज जो मैं और श्रेयस शुरू किए थे, now we are getting it back. And today is one of the first episodes of this second phase of this decluttered season. And today we have with us one of my friends and a very good fellow trader, Nikhil Khandelwal. So, just to give you a brief introduction about Nikhil, like he has been in the markets since 2016 and he has seen the COVID fall, he has seen the minor flash crash in 2018, and he has been trading both the indices from a short wall and non directional front, and he has been trading the earnings trade on single stock options, what we call SSOs. So, he'll be with me for this episode of Decluttered. होपफुली हम दोनों को देख के श्रेयस भी हमारे साथ वापस जुड़ जाए बट एज ऑफ नाउ we're going to be discussing about what's happening with the markets, and we're going to be discussing about the regime change that we have been witnessing in the current scenario. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fun conversation. Nikhil, welcome to Decluttered. You're filling the shoes of Shreyas as of now.
Hey, Praful, good. How are you?
All good, man, all good. Tell me, so क्या चल रहा है?
Nothing, just same old stuff. Looking at the markets currently right now, there's not much to do. कुछ ज़्यादा है नहीं करने को past few months. Not there's not much stuff that's making money consistently. So just finding places where there is small risk that we can put and then make some money out of it.
अभी तूने बताया कि there is not much opportunity for anybody to make money. So let's talk
Yeah.
about making money and how the markets have treated traders in general. I'm not going to be very particular about non-directional, directional, scalpers or positional players, but I know for a fact that like you interact with a lot of people, like traders from India and traders abroad. So what's the scenario? What has been the trading scene when it comes to the financial year 22-23? मतलब कुछ अच्छा पैसा बना? I mean, when I say acha paisa, the benchmark is 2021 and 2020. So compared to 2020 and 2021, kuch acha paisa bana? Like what's the stories like you've been hearing from the
So
streets?
like 2020 and 2021 were like completely different years compared to whatever we have had ever. So like you can't go and compare any other year of your trading cycle to those years. So those were like complete black swan years for you. If you traded well and traded uh, like at a decent size, those were the years that pulled you far ahead. कि आपको 3 4 5 साल shoot out कर दिया गया. Compared, if you compare last year to those years, obviously it's not gonna be a very nice sounding discussion because those 2 years we saw vol consistently dropping from higher levels to lower levels, and they were good VRP to make money out of it. Everybody, like be it positional people, be it stocks, people who are trading stocks, people who are trading intraday options, everybody were making money. We saw the coming of 920 on those years, like
That's a
how
whole
that,
topic to discuss about. So
yeah,
we're going
yeah,
to discuss about 920 and especially in relation to the Indian markets. So
yeah.
Nikhil, abhi ye batao, like what's a good return in 2022, because like you have talked to a lot of people. एक decent return क्या है 2022 में?
To be honest, if you close green, if you ask me, if you close green, you did a very good job.
Okay.
uh, and if you close green by not taking too many large convex risks, you did very well. But on par, anything that beats, let's say 15-20% is a very good year for me. So I would take that year as a good outcome. But it's just being tough making money. It was not about that. Okay, there was you were not closing in green or something like that. It's just trading the year felt consistently tough. There were not phases where you could see, okay, this something is working for me or something is working for a particular trading style. It was just consistent. Rugged
the
small
the regimes kept
moves in
changing
and
every
out.
quarter, right?
Yes, yes. So like it, you every kind of trader had their phases last year. So like we used to talk, yeah, we were shorting wall in September, October, and we had this great 2 month
Great couple
kind
of
of a
months.
streak
Yes, I
run.
remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were feeling like, okay, this might change. This year might change now.
And
And
then
then we
came
got,
December.
yeah, then we came into December, and then everything changed for us. Same thing happened with people who were doing trend following, so people who were trading 920. Like they all had their great months, and then they all struggled everything else, everywhere else. Yeah.
What has changed? I mean, if you notice, the intraday volatility has shot up, right? The VRP has pretty much gone into negative territory now. So if you are just trading purely from short wall perspective, there is no money to be made, and that doesn't mean that like long wall people are actually making money, right? The market's structure has changed. Is it because of extra like huge number of participants that have come into the markets in the recent past, or is it because of a lot of first gen algos, what I call the basic algos, that are there, because of which a series of stop losses trigger ho jate hai and then the market suddenly mean revert? What do you think ki the reason behind this regime change?
मतलब if you ask me, मुझसे पूछोगे तो it's mostly people entering. So a lot of people have entered with large capital who are price insensitive, जिनको भाव से कोई मतलब नहीं है.
Yeah.
So they have figured one kind of trading style for themselves, and they just systematically do that kind of a trading style. Options के साथ it's a bit tough when you do try to do systematical that kind of a trading style, irrespective how the market is giving you prices.
Yeah.
So that has changed. A lot of people are systematically buying or selling options, irrespective like what are they being served. So वो change हुआ है काफी, and it's also the component of the money that is flowing into the market. We have never seen this kind of money like coming into the
Absolutely. I
market
mean,
at such.
the options turnover have grown 10x in a single year.
Yes,
So
and also on how short the time frame that the turnover is put into the market. So it's not that the turnover is there for monthlies or bi-monthlies kind of options. It's by week on week. So they come and go every Thursday or every Tuesday.
exactly. I mean, forget about week on week. It's mostly on 1 DT and 0 DT. So
Yes,
Tuesday pay, if you're trading Tuesday and if you're trying to trade Nifty and Bank Nifty, you don't get the same liquidity that you're gonna get on Fin Nifty.
no.
So I mean, I feel that like we are kind of slowly drifting towards the US markets का scenario जहाँ पे every day is an expiry and सिर्फ वो जो expiry contracts में ही अच्छा liquidity मिलता है and बाकी सारे contracts में the liquidity is just so.
Yeah, so since that is one place where you can actually deploy a large amount of capital, everybody is looking into that, and it's also comparatively to move capitals around different instruments, different time frames, different asset classes. It's easier to just trade one index or one place, and then uh, try to systematically do it. So like that has what I feel what
Because
driven
that's
a
the
lot of
most
people into
simplest
this
way
market.
to because that's the most simplest way to do it, right? Because people
Yes,
don't consider that tail risk and that
yes,
concentrated bets जहाँ पे डालते हैं, and what if that index pops?
yes. So it's like people usually don't think about kind of scenarios. They are concerned more about their daily hustle and bustle. तो वो तो ठीक है, but the thing is this makes it easy for them to do it in a 2 or 5 step process. Let's say if this
Exactly.
and that kind of, so every first stage algorithm, as we said, is an if and else algorithm that does probably things in 2 to 5 steps. So that's how most of the market and participants are behaving. So taking the market as a 2 to 5 step process, and that's an easier way of uh, putting forward your thought process. If you have something that you feel like, okay, I can do that systematically. So that's where a lot of money is flowing, and that's I feel what is creating a lot of the new changes that we are seeing into the market.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of this capital, it's being put in based on back tested results. That's the and they are
And
taking
that
the that they are
Yeah.
taking the benchmark of 2021 and 2020 and they're expecting the same kind of returns, and
So
the whole market is pretty much, they are on this very similar style of trading. And do you think that it's become like easy to gamify that?
So with backtests specifically, the amount of data that you have matters a lot. You can't be running a backtest on 3 years or a 4 years kind of data and then feel like, okay, since we had a bull run in 2018 till 2020 and then a crash and then a massive up move that grinded, that you will be served the same kind of sample coming forward the next 2 3 years as well. So anybody, let's say, if I start my back test from April 2020 or from Feb 2020 or from like Jan 2020, they would have different results comparatively. Yeah.
Forget about positional stuff, because the lot of algorithms that are currently running in the markets and a bigger chunk of capital that's been deployed, they are mostly intraday algos. They don't care about the broader market structure. मतलब बुल रन हो गया, क्रैश हो गया, उसके बाद एक फिनोमिनल वापस बाउंस आया, दे आर लाइक लीस्ट कंसर्न अबाउट ऑल दैट. So they are
No,
consistently doing something on an intraday basis, and they're trying to rely upon two things. One is the risk reward and another is the randomness, and
so
that too especially close to expiry.
when you are trading volatility, when you are trading options, you are indirectly trading volatility. So you need a larger sample space of how a broader market has been. So you can't be like, okay, we have seen this 2 3 years of massive up move, and my strategy worked very well in this massive up move. You're not gonna have that kind of massive up move in the next 2 years. So most likely, the strategy that you are deploying on the backtest of the past 2 or 3 years would not be doing as it did on your backtest results. So it's not just a component of being intraday or positional. It's just the component of the sample size that you have when trading backtest. So I am not a big proponent of backtesting specifically on very small sample size. So if you are trading a 2 3 taking a 2 3 year or 4 years kind of a sample size and running a backtest on it, you probably would have a great 2 months, 3 months, and then it would stop working, and then you would keep on thinking, why is it not working for me?
आई एम ऑफ द एग्जैक्ट सेम ओपिनियन. मैं पुराने मेरे वीडियोस में भी मैं ये चीज़ सेम चीज़ बताते रहता हूँ कि लाइक इफ़ यू आर रनिंग अ पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रैटेजी बेस्ड ऑन द बैक टेस्ट, स्पेशली द लास्ट कपल ऑफ ईयर्स बैक टेस्ट देख के ओ इतना पैसा आया, इतना कम ड्रॉडाउन पे, ऑल दोज पीपल आर इन फॉर अ डिसअपॉइंटमेंट एंड दे हैव बीन गोइंग थ्रू दैट डिसअपॉइंटमेंट. मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल, when I say that a particular strategy has stopped working, लोगों को लगता है कि it's not making money, in fact it's losing money. That's not the case, right? उनका उसका कालमार है वो reduce होता जाएगा, right? The same 920 plain vanilla 920 kind of systems which returned somewhere around 80-85% in 2021 with a max drawdown of probably like 6-7%. Now they are returning probably 25-30% with a max drawdown of 15%.
You can't really run a back test on options like that. So that is supposed to happen. I would say a lot of the results that you would you will get by running backtest system on options from past 3 4 years would be very random. So it might be that your backtest shows you are making like 20% or 30% CAGR, but you might end up making 80%, or you might giving up 20% for the next few years. So you can't really say what's gonna be served. It's mostly like you wanna take a pill. So where how are you gonna take it?
I mean, see, like I am a firm believer of having your trading systems come out of your first principles,
Yes.
right? I'm not a big believer. I'm not at all a believer of I can't put my money on a system which is validated by the backtest or which is originated from the backtest. For example, let's say like I have a system which has originated from first principles and it has been validated from a good thorough backtest. Probably I might consider that, but people are just like crunching numbers and they're just curve fitting and they're saying that oh is time pe itna stop loss pe ye karega. So that's pure bullshit in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if that's a nice way to put it, but I'd still go with the word bullshit.
Yeah. If you ask me, I'll just call it dumb. So to have a trade, you need a premise. Okay, this is something that I'm seeing, a particular change in flow or a particular change in how the market is moving, and then probably build a structure around it, how that premise is gonna play out.
Yeah.
But if you're just gonna do something like, okay, I'm shorting wall at 9:35 and then 9:55 and then some random time, the time you are gonna go through a lot of randomness in your
Yeah.
trading PNL and everything else. So
So that's what, like, when we say that short wall is not making money, it doesn't mean that long wall people are minting money. So both
yes,
are, everyone's getting chopped. Basically, people who are short wall and who are just sell and hold kind of people, like they are kind of realizing some premiums, but it's just a ticking time bomb.
yes. So also the kind of trading we do and a lot of people other do. It's not just it's not just the everybody else. We do the same things. It's just we are concentrated on very short time frame. So what a 5 minute, 10 minute candle does to our performance matters to us a lot.
Because we are
So
that leveraged, right?
yes, we are that leveraged, and the thing what is happening is because like massive amount of flow is in just that five to who are just sensitive to those 5 to 10 minutes candle. They behave very similarly when those candles actually happen. So
Hmm.
like we have seen how sensitive the flow that is coming into the market is around 5 to 10 minutes kind of candles. So what we saw this last year a lot when 30% of the OI used to vanish instantly on a random 5 to 10 minutes candle, uh, going out of position. And so we actually could see people being price insensitive because so if there was a 50 point uh, move in
Candle,
spot
50-point
and the
candle, yeah.
options were moving more than 50 points, which
Yeah.
created a lot of arb opportunities there.
And
But
if you notice, I think that's the time when, just these algos were about to, flock into the markets. But abhi kya ho raha hai, you can notice, even when there is a 50-point sudden move, the OI is not getting reduced by 20-30% as we used to see before. मेरे
yes,
हिसाब से I think the HFTs are closing those arbitrage, and they are actually using these stop losses to fill.
so they did that earlier as well, but I think a lot of people got into like the HFTs and other prop funds probably noticed this, and they just sized up themselves on that kind of a flow.
Sized up themselves, and there are I know certain people, like good traders, who have gone from gen 1 algos to gen 2 algos. That is,
Mhm.
instead of being like extremely price insensitive and just trying to short at whatever random prices, time based entries or something, they are now
Mm,
having price based entries. Like whenever
mm,
there is a spike, whenever there is a chain of stop losses of these price insensitive traders getting hit, they are coming and shorting the gamma, or they are coming and shorting the wall at that point.
mhm.
So do you think that with the advent of more and more these gen 2 kind of algos, do you think that that balance will come back, the sanity will come back?
No, for that, like if as a retail, if you're gonna move into that kind of a time frame, you would need to hold some inventory which you're gonna offload when you get those good fills.
Exactly, I mean
So
there is opportunity cost to that, of course.
yes, it's a very dangerous move to actually fill a big gamma because you really don't know when that gamma peaks, or
Correct.
if that gamma is just a start to something very bigger, and
Absolutely.
you don't really want to be caught on that for scalping few points like an HFT or someone else. Uh, these HFTs and props have a very good infra, and they hold inventories which they offload when they get better prices somewhere else and create like that which creates an arb opportunity. As a retail doing that on some few, let's say 10 or tens of crores, is a I would not say is very similar to what the HFTs and prop would pull out.
I mean, of course, there's no comparison with that, because see, I'm also predominantly a zero DT trader. Even you are predominantly zero DT trader. I mean, you might have diversified your trading into different instruments and different asset classes, but invariably, the majority chunk of your money also comes from zero DT. Believe it or not,
Yes.
agree or not,
Yes.
it is that's the truth. Now, uh, I have completely stopped trading positional. I've completely stopped trading like stocks. I've completely stopped trading like earnings or post earning drifts or anything related to stock options. And I've mainly focused on trading only the expiries, right? But I that is mainly from my effort to reward concept. Like मैं क्या बोलता हूँ कि if I am spending like six hours in front of the screen, I tend to make more money on expiries than spending the same amount of time and effort sitting on the screen on non-expiry days and by trading something else. But I noticed that like you're still diversifying your book across SSOs, across some positional stuff. तो how's SSOs doing? We talk a lot and तुमने बताया था कि मतलब लास्ट 2 क्वार्टर से SSO से कुछ पैसे बन नहीं रहा.
So last year was decent. Uh, like when we talked about SSOs, they were making decent money. It's just kind of so if you want to be short different time frames at volatility, and I want to do it. Let's say I want to have some exposure to monthly volatility contracts. So like choosing your poison on SSOs is easier compared to just going and shorting indexes, which I'm already doing on weekly 0 DTs and 1 DTs. As soon as we had that unpinning from 18,500 levels, a lot of move has been erratic. The pricing on SSOs didn't move as much as the realized vol move. As we unpinned from that 18,500 levels to 16,800, whatever we reached.
Yeah.
So those moves really created a lot of ripple into the SSO's walls, and uh, the walls that SSO were pricing like didn't justify those realized walls. So a lot of losses happened there, and then we also had this Adani incident which blew up the whole
I
SSO
remember. I
price.
remember your Adani trade. Like we discussed in depth on your Adani trade.
Yeah, so that itself was like a once in a decade kind of a trade that you get. Like I personally have never seen walls go up to 300 level. Like,
Exactly. So
so if
first of
you
all, a lot of our viewer base basically follows me only for my index short wall trades. They don't know that like we also discuss and we also ideate on all these SSO trades and other different the bunch of trades that we all usually talk about. So just to give them the perspective, just to give them a quick heads up on what SSO is. SSO is single stock option. एंड
yes,
वहां पे शॉर्ट वॉल करना बोले तो जस्ट लाइक हाउ इंडेक्स में कॉल एंड पुट होता है, स्टॉक्स में भी कॉल एंड पुट होता है, एंड दीज premiums they tend to shoot up prior to earnings or prior to any event. Kya kyun? Because the expectation of the realized volatility is higher. That's why the option premiums imply a higher volatility. So as option sellers, we go and again short their straddles or strangles or some bunch of other strategies, and we try to replicate the same thing what we do on indices. So that's called SSOs. And if we dabble with the SSOs during the earning season, it's called earnings trade. And if we dabble post earning के बाद usually एक trend follow हो जाता है कि एक ट्रेंड emerge होता है कि based on how the stock has performed. तो उसके बाद जो ड्रिफ्ट होता है उस ड्रिफ्ट को अगर हम ट्रेड करते हैं तो it's called post earning drifts. So I've kind of dialed it down basic understanding के लिए.
yes. So like index, you have two indexes to choose from. Nifty and Bank Nifty, now three, Fin Nifty as well.
मिड कैप भी आ
On
रहा है भाई. मिड
stocks,
कैप भी आ
yeah,
रहा है.
yes, mid cap as well. Stocks may you get a lot of choices to where to put your money in. The only thing that you need to be really, really careful about is that you don't size up too big on stocks like you
Correct.
do on index, because to move index you need a lot and lots of money.
Correct.
Like you can't really move index 2% on some mere 10,000, like 10 crores or 15, 20 crores. But if you want
With
to move
stocks
a
you can do
stock
that.
10%, you don't really need that kind of a money, and you don't really want to be caught somewhere that which can be moved with small amount of money at very large positioning. So
Yeah.
with stocks, you have to choose your battles, and you have to size very, very, very meagerly, and then just keep doing it uh, wherever you find walls which you feel are expensive, and probably even buying where you feel like where the premiums are cheap, कि अगर आपको लग रहा है कि यहाँ पे premiums बहुत सस्ते हैं compared to क्या move कर सकता है, और you have let's say तुम्हारे पास एक say है कि this stock is gonna probably move up 5% in next 1 month. You can go buy balls there, like you can go buy a call or even straddle something like that based on your premise. But
Simple, bro. I mean, like, let me just put it in a very simple way for our viewers. So, if you feel that the market move will be higher than what the option premiums are indicating, go and buy that option. And if you feel
yes,
that the market's realized move will be less than what the combined premium of a straddle or a strangle is indicating, then sell that option. It's as simple as that.
it's
Basically,
as simple.
short wall and long wall just means how are option premiums pricing in the risk of that volatility in comparison to the actual realized volatility that the stock or that index gonna play out. It's as simple
Yes,
as that. So यहाँ पे you mentioned a point that sizing is of key, correct? And I absolutely concur to that, because you cannot uh, trade a stock option, though the fundamentally theoretically it's the same concept, like you're shorting the wall or you're going long on wall, but it it tends to have like completely different outcome just because of how undiversified the risk is, right? When we are trading a diversified index, as you said, it requires a huge amount of capital to actually cause some amount of movement in that index. But when it comes to stocks, anything can happen,
yes,
and sizing is the key. And when you're trading stock options, it's like trading becomes almost like a full-time job, right? Because when you're doing SSOs, you should always be on the lookout for which stock's wall has gone up, where can I find an opportunity, because most of the time your capital is idle. There is a lot of opportunity cost because you cannot commit your entire capital to one particular stock, because you cannot simply do that.
no.
Exactly. So that's why, like, you have to be constantly on the lookout. So what is your mechanism? How do you keep screening
Uh,
for the stocks which have
I screen all my stocks trades 2 times a day. So I don't really be on a lookout every 1 hour something. I screen it in the morning on the first hour and in the evening at the closing 1 hour. And in the morning, if I find some trade that I really wanna feel like, okay, this is on my radar to short premiums or long premiums, I do that. And in the evening, I see, okay, is something not working, और क्या मुझे कहीं पे ऑप्शंस को एडजस्ट करने की जरूरत है या कुछ करने की जरूरत है, तो आई डू दैट. सो इट्स बेसिकली जस्ट 2 times ऑफ द डे दैट आई गो एंड लुक ऑन माय प्रीमियम्स ऑन माय बुक, लाइक अपने ट्रेडिंग टर्मिनल पे, कि what the options are doing, and then just manage them accordingly. It's not very uh, urgency based trades like index options. So index options you have to keep your eye on the terminal so that
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because index options may we are trading extreme short time frames. First thing, and
yes,
our position sizing is so huge that you
yes,
cannot you don't have the holding power. So simple concept hai, if your size is smaller, your holding power goes up. If your size is
yes.
larger, you have to constantly be on the lookout for every small move.
So I'll give you an example. Let's say आपके पास 1 crore का account है, and you have some, let's say 15 stock options positions that are open, 10 to 15 stock options positions that are open. At any particular time, those all the options would not be moving together or like in a single direction till the index is not moved. तो इतना कोरिलेशन तो होता है कि सारे इकट्ठे नहीं मूव कर रहे होंगे. अगर इंडेक्स मूव कर रहा है तो probably yes, there would be a macro news
Broader
that would be moving.
broader risk, broader market risk.
Yeah, broader risk that would be moving the one. Otherwise no. So inherently all those positions एक दूसरे को self manage करते हैं. So some would be going against you, some would be working in your favor, and like so you become non-urgency kind of a trade. If you become very urgent looking at a single trade every minute, that would draw a lot of anxiety. you will probably not be able to trade
No, I think
because
that is the Nikhil. Like I tend to slightly disagree here because that anxiety kind of stuff, now that is completely personality based. There are a lot of people I know who are like excellent scalpers and they are calm as fuck scalping.
no,
उनको
but
कोई टेंशन
when
नहीं है.
when you are trading 15 different instruments and
हाँ.
they have 15 different path dependencies, like some is moving 2% up, some is moving 2% down. किसी पे आपने 30 के आईवी पे शॉर्ट किया था वो 32 हो गया है, किसी पे आपने 25 पे किया था वो 23 हो गया है. You can't be really looking at all those data points every second. That becomes very tedious, and it draws a lot of variance in your performance. So the best thing I figured was just to take two different time frames. Let's say 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning, and then devote 15 minutes to looking, okay, what my book is doing, kya kar rahe sare trades, and maybe in the later half from 2:45 to 3, and then go look in the book. Do I really need to manage anything? In Baki time, I'm just not looking at them because even me looking at them would probably not change the outcome a lot. I might adjust something, but that's just in the longer run. Me doing मैं ये ज्यादा अगर लाइक 3 4 5 10 साल तक ही कर रहा हूँ, it will just be variance in my whole trading career. So it's a way scalable way to do it on just picking some time frames and looking on कि आप एक बड़ा टाइम फ्रेम के ट्रेड्स को, मंथली के ट्रेड्स को आप दिन में 1 या 2 बार ही देखो, उससे ज्यादा ना देखो.
यहाँ
You
पे ना
could keep
like
alerts.
the one
So what
thing
you
one
could do,
thing Nikhil, one thing I found really interesting in this conversation is you mentioned the time frame of 5 to 10 years. मतलब सोचो कि how many traders that have come into the markets can even think of time frames like 5 years, 10 years. Like how many people can think that, oh, I have to trade this for 5 or 10 years to actually see that result? Nobody's gonna think like that. मतलब
so I treat what I'm doing as a business. तो धंधे में आप कभी भी बात नहीं करते हो कि यार 1 साल में मैं कहाँ, अगर किसी बिजनेस या एंटरप्रेन्योर के पास जाओगे, उससे पूछोगे 1 साल में कहाँ अपने आप को देखते हो, तो वो probably आंसर नहीं कर पाएगा, but he has some sort of vision that where he wants to see himself in 5 or 10 years. So and like how he's gonna do it. So that is something I believe in myself as well. अगर आप मुझसे पूछोगे कि 3 महीने में what is going on, I don't know what the market is gonna serve me, but there is a plan for running it for 5, 10, 15 years, doing it as a business for longer time.
that's exactly the problem with a lot of these people who come into trading, right? Like they never treat it like business. अगर उनको पूछेंगे उनके लाइफ के बारे में, they have career plans set out for 10-15 years, they have their business plans set out for 10-15 years, but trading में ऐसा है कि एक वीक में उनका पैसा इधर डबल होता है या जीरो हो जाता है.
That becomes फिर वो तो that is more like like a हॉर्स जॉकीज होते हैं जो घोड़े पे एक
You
शर्त
can
लगाते हैं.
use the word gambling. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's more
I,
like a
I I
gambling.
I
कि आप
noticed like how reluctant you were to use that word. Like you can go ahead and
so
use it, man.
I am very reluctant in using the word gambling because that gives a bad rep to all traders in the business. I
Community. Yeah.
always use the word business for this what we do, and not because everybody else treats it as a gambling kind of a thing. But there is a lot of, like, we don't really gamble. It's more like poker. You would not be calling poker gambling as it at the top of its level.
See, we are
So
betting
when you
every time we put a trade, like we are placing a bet. But
yes,
there
we
is
are
a
placing
very
a bet.
thin line. Yeah, there is a very thin line between betting with some informed and with some risk management principles involved and mere gambling.
Yes. So you always, like, when you're playing a poker and you are halfway through, let's say you are halfway through a river or something like that, you always kind of calculating your odds in your head. What are my odds? Okay, I have this kind of deep pockets. How much can I bet on these odds? That's what we are doing. We're just not playing like a horse jockey and betting on a random horse. Okay, this let's bet like 50% of our our pool on this random thing without having a proper odds in that we could calculate.
Nikhil, man, I mean, this was a very fun conversation. It was kind of a completely candid and impromptu conversation. So we didn't actually stick to one particular topic. Like we went all around the places. But
Just
this was just like a trial run for the upcoming episodes with you. So viewers, आपको कैसा लगा? So how was the conversation? I know that a lot of things you'd be hearing it for the first time because I've not talked about these things on my channel because I've always stuck to index short wall trading and short gamma trading, expiry trading पे ही हम लोग बात करते हैं. But if you guys want to listen to me and Nikhil talk about a lot of earnings trades and post earning drifts and single stock option trades and pair trading, so let me know in the comment section ki if you want to see more of these videos, because every episode like we'll pick one particular trade and we're gonna go through, we're gonna dissect it, we're gonna explain right from the trade entry, the rationale behind it, the contingency plan, and what's the worst case scenario. We're going to discuss all those things. And Nikhil, since he puts actual trades on single stock options, and I kind of vicariously trade single stock options through Nikhil and some other friends of mine, so it's going to be a good banter. And let me know in the comment section if you really want to see that. And I hope you guys had a good time watching me and Nikhil do some
that was
bakchodi
great.
for the last 45 minutes.
Yes.
So Nikhil, thanks a lot, man. I mean, it was good having this conversation with you, and looking forward to
Always
more
a pleasure.
conversation. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys in my next either a live trading video or another episode of Decluttered. See you guys. Take care. Bye bye.